Hello, my name is Lonnie Jones, the business services rep from KANSASWORKS Southeast and Chanute. Welcome to Workshop Wednesday, and this Wednesday we are going over some basics in using computer technology. Please feel free to, during the presentation, to access the chat, and our online staff will be happy to help answer any questions you have. We also have time at the end of the workshop for some questions, so if you feel like saving it for later, there will be time after the presentation to go over them. So computers have changed considerably in the last few years, and even more so within the last century, and of course prior to that. Here you can see a Sinclair home computer. Some of you might know what these are, but most of us today will look at this and think it is a keyboard. Being familiar with the computer used to be a select hobby or necessity for engineers or researchers or doctors, but it is now a common skill requirement in everyday life. And computers have changed drastically. You can see right here, there's actually no monitor on this. So this used to be a common work from home computer that people would access their uh, documents to type up resumes or reports on, and this was considered to be very high end many years ago. So, moving on, I want to go into some basic concepts to get familiar with. The fastest way to conduct a job search is to go on a computer and research what jobs are available or that you are interested in and apply. The majority of small businesses and certainly companies will require you to create a unique user account on their servers to access applications and submit them. Make sure you are familiar with an email provider, Gmail, Yahoo Mail, Comcast, or just a few. You'll need to access your email on a constant basis to log into many of these sites and review applications and their responses if you get any. Most people know how to turn on a computer, but there are still some who may still see the use of the computer as a niche. The biggest concept to take away from this presentation is that integrating your computer with your job search requires being familiar with basic functions like using a computer for email services online. Keeping track of logins. There's so many logins, so little time. With so many unique IDs needed for emails, employer sites, it has become vital to keep track of these things to ease the burden and stress of having to remember. Do not rely on your bookmarks or saved browser history for websites. Even for today's youth who are growing up constantly online or exposed to digital network, keeping track of all the different IDs and logins can be very daunting. This is very frustrating and oftentimes leads to stress, which can be very overwhelming. And the best solution is for everyone to keep a written log of their critical login info needed for services. Keep this info secure but accessible. This may not be an option if you're in the workplace. It is best to keep a printed log or written log of these critical passwords somewhere you will not forget in your house. In a place of business, it might be considered against company practice. Email phishing and scams. Be cautious of emails sent directly to you that seem to make bold statements or intimidating threats. That is considered to be phishing. Is not necessarily a hacker per se, but malicious actors or organizations may send out emails that require or ask you to respond with certain information, such as a social security number, driver's license info, or bank account. If you do not know the sender or the message seems vague but requires you to act by sending identifiable personal information, do not reply. Do not open every email and refrain from subscribing to newsletters and similar, as this makes reviewing important emails difficult. Email has replaced printed letter mail for some time, and unfortunately, it has led to an increase in junk mail that we receive from scammers, these malicious persons or organizations, or outright garbage that serves no real purpose other than to flood servers with large volumes of data traffic. Stay alert of what is in your emails, but do not open everything. Use common sense and do not respond with personal information. So, data and software is always growing. It seems to be that there is a constant new software package for people to use in work or at home. And it seems that there's endless amounts of data that's constantly going from our home computers to online networks. There's some very basic concepts to remember when thinking about these things. And up on the top here, you can see I've placed a few of these things. The internet is forever. Don't forget to save. Less is more. And what happens when the lights go out, as well as all work and no play. There are a lot of things I'm sure you have heard regarding your data or using the computer. It is important to remember that ultimately computers are an archive of info, and networks, whether online or through a local web, retain this info for a very long time. However, on your personal computer or at home, remember to save your work and keep it organized somewhere you can access it and won't forget, like a desktop folder. Keep your files limited to what you need, and do not build up collections of useless junk files you might be tempted to save, as this slows down your computer or can be forgotten and accidentally placed with important files. Although computers are reliable, it doesn't hurt to back up your files to an external drive or USB. Take advantage of free web data storage such as Google Drive. It helps to have an affordable computer simply for work. If you enjoy games or want to spend time watching movies, consider a separate computer not connected to a network, which will not be slowed down or slow down the performance of your computer needed for work. Always remember to utilize the resources that are available for you, including the Kansas Workforce Centers, your local workforce center, and kansasworks.com. We're always here to help, and I'm very happy to help show people how to access or utilize computers in their job search. Or if you have any questions, we can assist with regarding work processes using a computer if we are available. Call or visit your local workforce center. These are our hours of operation, Monday through Friday. We are generally available 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., with exception of 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. We are closed for lunch. And here you see our offices here in Iola, Fort Scott, Chanute, Emporia, Independence, Paola, and Pittsburgh. Also, remember to visit KansasWorks online, where we have current local job listings and the resources available for you there.